You're the best, man. I appreciate it.
If you're back here, get back here, 59.
Jesus Christ.
Good luck. Good
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now at 9, one Yorktown florist is giving back. See how they are growing the good.
A local community council is helping a neighborhood food desert. Find out how many families they're impacting.
Developments in the Kevin Spacey battery trial. Hear the verdict in moments.
And increases of COVID-19 variants are pointing to a possible surge this winter. What you need to know.
It may feel like fall outside right now, but this weekend it's going to feel like summer. I'll have that and more coming up on my full forecast.
Delaware County's only live television newscast from Ball State University's Unified Media Newsroom. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Elias Elsner.
And I'm Olivia Sloniker. After a few cold days this week, we're starting to see a warm-up.
Yeah, it's turning out to be great weather for homecoming weather. Forecaster Jack Van Meter joins us now. Jack?
Yeah, so this warm-up actually is going to be pretty big. Usually we see, and this time we see it cool down, but this is interesting. We're actually seeing it warm up for now. So let's go over to the wall and we can finally explain that a little more. There we go. As we step outside right now to our current temperatures, like I said earlier, it's going to feel a lot like fall. We're 50 degrees here in Muncie, Indiana, 49 in Indianapolis, South Bend sitting at a cool 41 degrees. Now this won't stay for a while because we are seeing this big warm up coming sooner. Now we are now for the next 12 hours we are seeing actually how it's plateauing. It's not really dropping all that much. It's because all those warm temperatures are warming up and it's stabilizing the temperatures before they can actually go forward. So what we're tracking for the show tonight, we're tracking a very warm homecoming weekend. With those warm temperatures, we are going to be seeing a lot of wind and we are seeing lots of sun this weekend. Guys?
Thank you, Jack. As we get closer to the winter temps, it's time to pick up your last bouquet of flowers, and a local business got the community's help to hand them out.
Foister's Flowers and Gifts gave away over 400 free bouquets yesterday at their 6th annual Peddle It Forward event. Each visitor received 2 bouquets, one to keep and one to give to others. Sharon Grubbs, current owner of Foister's Flowers and Gifts, gave her account on the purpose of hosting this yearly event.
Our desired outcome would be that we make people smile, that that we give back to the people of the community, and then they can give something back to somebody else.
Foister's Flowers also provides for occasions of any kind. For online viewing and ordering of their entire catalog, visit foistersflowers.com.
Earlier today, the Whiteley Community Council hosted a food pantry to provide goods to the Whiteley neighborhood and the nearby community. The historic African-American neighborhood of Whiteley, with around 3,000 residents, is a food desert with much of the neighborhood lacking access to grocery stores. The Whiteley Community Food Pantry opens every third Thursday of every month from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Harvest Church in Muncie.
We typically help about 150 families each month. That number has been going up steadily over the last 5 or 6 months. As we get into the winter, it'll probably continue to grow. So our only goal is to reach those that's in need, that's in this area, and then to try to help them sustain their household for a little while.
To volunteer, contact the Whiteley Community Council through email by messaging whiteleycc@gmail.com or by calling them at 765-287-5392.
In other statewide news, an Indianapolis police officer accused of kicking a handcuffed man in the face during an arrest last year has been indicted by a federal grand jury for alleged use of excessive force. Sergeant Eric Huxley was indicted on one count of deprivation of rights under color of law. The U.S. Attorney's Office says the officer is accused of violating the civil rights of a person by use of excessive force. The charge alleges that Huxley struck the handcuffed person in the head and face, causing injury. Huxley was suspended from the force last year.
A New York jury has found Kevin Spacey not liable for battery. The verdict came in a short time after the jury began deliberations this afternoon. Anthony Rapp says Spacey touched him inappropriately when he was a teenager. He was suing the actor for battery. Spacey says the allegations aren't true, even though he apologized after the accusations came out. But he says his publicity team at the time told him he'd be labeled a victim blamer if he pushed back. Now he says, quote, "I regret my entire statement." This is what his attorneys had to say.
We're very grateful to the jury for seeing through these false allegations.
Very pleased. We think that justice was done today.
The judge formally dismissed the case after the jury's verdict.
After 45 days in office, UK Prime Minister Liz Truss has resigned. This is the shortest time in office of any Prime Minister in British history.
I recognise, though, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party.
This comes after the British Home Secretary resigned yesterday. After meeting with the King, Truss says they agreed a leadership election would be done in the next week, and she'll remain as Prime Minister until a successor is chosen.
There is a new batch of COVID-19 variants brewing, and some health experts say it could cause a surge this winter. Cases of the strains are already increasing in Europe and Singapore. The co-director of the Center for Vaccine Development at Texas Children's Hospital has dubbed these, quote, Scrabble variants. The CDC says these variants are responsible for nearly a third of all of the cases reported nationwide last week.
Americans have been rolling up their sleeves for updated booster shots. According to the CDC, 4.5 million Americans got the bivalent booster last week. That vaccine targets the original strain as well as 2 Omicron variants. A total of about 20 million Americans have received that booster, which is less than 10% of the eligible population.
And as sleeves go up, a CDC advisory committee recommends the vaccine be added to a regular immunization schedules for 2023. The Committee on Immunization Practices voted unanimously to make the recommendation for both children and adults. Whether this is actually enforced is up to local and state health authorities. Cleanup from Hurricane Ian continues, and residents are receiving financial support. What parts of the state got federal help?
We are a month away from the biggest parade in the country. Find out the special history of one of its newest floats.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, MITS will take you there.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Welcome back. Hurricane Ian is proving to be a costly disaster.
More than $1 billion in federal support has been provided to Florida residents affected by the storm. According to FEMA, $545 million has gone to households and $302 million to the state. Some of the ways the federal funding is helping Floridians recover: nearly 6,000 free roofs, providing disaster unemployment assistance, and covering hotel stays for those who need it. Also, the U.S. Small Business Administration has provided $130 million in disaster loans to employers. And the National Flood Insurance Program has paid out $98 million to at least 40,000 people who filed flood insurance claims.
American Airlines recently decided to get rid of first-class seats on all international flights. The airline's chief commercial officer announced the changes earlier today, citing low customer demand for the reason of the changes. The seats being first class were replaced with more business class seats. The CCO wants to include more premium business class seats because, quote, that is what our customers most want or are most willing to pay for.
The Big Apple could be getting a casino today. Caesars Entertainment and SL Green Realty Corporation announced a proposal to open a Times Square location. The companies want to renovate an existing 54-story office tower to avoid the cost and time associated with constructing a new building. The tower currently houses a Broadway theater that is home to the Lion King musical. In April, New York State approved the area for up to 3 full-service casino licenses. The licenses cost $500 million each, and the Caesars and SL Green duo are hoping to secure one.
Staying in the City of Dreams, you will be able to see a classic bread brand in the spotlight of this year's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Wonder Bread will be a part of the festivities for the first time in its 101-year history with this float. They call the float the Wonder Ship, and it features the brand's signature colors, red, yellow, and blue. The company says the design honors its history and is a reference to the day the company's founder watched a hot air balloon race. The awe he felt gave him inspiration for the brand's name.
In other food news, a pasta producer is facing a class action lawsuit. Today, the federal judge ruled that Berea can't avoid the allegedly deceptive advertising lawsuit. The brand slogan reads, quote, Italy's #1 brand of pasta, and the lawsuit claims the slogan can lead customers to believe it's actually made in Italy. The pasta itself is made in Iowa and New York, but the 2 customers who filed the lawsuit said they bought multiple boxes thinking the food was made in Italy. The judge ruled that the pair both suffered, quote, economic injury and presented enough evidence that they wouldn't have bought Berea if they knew it wasn't made in Italy.
BMW will be joining other car brands by producing electric vehicles. Yesterday, the German car maker announced it will invest $1.7 billion into producing electric cars and SUVs. Most of that money will be put into helping the car maker's largest factory produce the vehicles. BMW also plans to build a new assembly plant nearby dedicated to making batteries for the electrical vehicles.
In addition to those warm temperatures, we will also see those increased wind speeds. I'll tell you how much after the break.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Emotes say a lot, but they can't say it all. Think your guildmate is struggling? Try these dialogue options. Go beyond emotes. Check in with your guildmates at seizetheawkward.org.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles, watching each other's backs,
And banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an effort.
to get to know each other.
On a deeper level. Father.
Cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward. Come together
And discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
We're back. It's 9:13 and you are looking at the Cooper Science Building at the moment. Weather's going to get warmer soon.
Absolutely, just in time for homecoming too. I'm really looking forward to those warm weathers, especially for the parade, for the football game. It is going to be perfect weather for our homecoming game.
Yes, full of fun and festivities for a good and warm fall weekend.
Absolutely, I can't wait. Jack, what do you have for us?
Yeah, right now for our full forecast for weather, it's going to be quite, actually, if we step outside right now, we're going to be in the middle 50s right now. As you can see by our current radar, there's not much happening out there. We just have some clouds that we saw earlier this morning start to move out of the viewing area. There's no precipitation with that whatsoever. Again, with those current temperatures, we're going to be in the 50s and 40s around the state. They're quite cool for now, but like I said, there's a warm-up on the way. So for your forecast tonight, we're going to be at 40 degrees, partly cloudy with those winds out of the south blowing at 10 miles an hour. Now we do have another installment of weather whiplash, except this time it's not cooling down. It's warming up, which is a little unusual for this time of year. Our high today was actually 54 degrees, which is normal for this time of year. Tomorrow we're warming up to 70 degrees, and you may ask yourself, why is that just happening out of the blue? It's because of these breezy conditions bringing up all that warm air that we're going to be seeing tomorrow and then this weekend ahead. So let's time out tomorrow a little bit for you. So 8 in the morning, we'll be at 40 degrees there, warming up to a great 70 degrees by 5 p.m. So just getting off of work or school. It's going to be absolutely lovely. But we are going to be dealing with these winds 10 to 15 miles an hour out of the south throughout the day. Now we will also see some bigger gusts with those winds as well. So we'll time those out for you as well. This is tomorrow at midnight. So as we move this through, we'll stop it at 6 o'clock here. As you can see, these gusts are pretty high, 20 miles an hour, averaging around our viewing area. So if you're outside enjoying that weather tomorrow, take note of that because, it will grab your attention. And then we play it forward till tomorrow. And we're still going to be pretty breezy as well for homecoming as well. So if you're out at the game or tailgating, be sure to watch your hats because they will fly straight off there. Now, as for that warm up, as you can see, we're going to be in the middle 50s here, warming up to our high of 70 tomorrow, and then our high of 76 tomorrow as well. Looking at our weekend forecast as well, be at 76 tomorrow for homecoming and homecoming festivities. Sunday, actually that wind's going to be dropping down quite a bit, so we're going to see quite a lot of sun and a degree warmer at 77 degrees there. Now for our mid 7-day forecast, on Friday and Saturday we're going to be seeing those breezier conditions, but with that warm up. Sunday we're going to see all that sun, and then into the next week we are going to drop off to regular temperatures as scheduled, but we will actually see a chance of rain in the next week, which actually is very nice. We haven't seen rain in quite some time now. We do need that, so that's something to look forward to as well as the warm weather.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's going to be warm, but there's going to be wind, too.
There's going to be a lot of wind. So all it is that warm air from the south moving up north there. That's what's warming all of us up this weekend. So it's kind of fun to think about.
And I'm excited for that rain, too. I think my mom's flowers could really use some.
Oh, I've got a couple that look like they're in the hospital right now. It's not pretty at all.
Forecasters of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration released their winter weather outlook today. So who needs to bust out the parka? Americans in the northern tier should brace themselves for cooler than average conditions and some snow days, but other regions will face a frosty future.
Much of the southern half of the country along the eastern seaboard will likely see warmer than average temperatures due to the anticipated reappearance for La Nina and for the third consecutive year. Now we're sending it to Max for a look at sports.
Ball State Soccer finishing up their matchup versus Kent State. We have the score, and a group of students has decided to take their athletic talents to the next level. All this and more next in sports.
Here's your sandwich, miss.
Oh, thank you.
And your burger.
Awesome, thank you.
And your bowl of boiling water, sir.
After retiring from the NFL, I've been able to spend a lot more time coaching my daughter's basketball teams. It's something I love to do. Through our games and our tournaments, we see all types of coaching, good and bad. And it begs the question, do we really know who's coaching our kids? Do they have the proper training and screening it would take for me to be comfortable with my daughters playing for that coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to screen and train all of our coaches. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
So if one cat has 4 kittens who reproduce every 6 months, how many cats will there be in 5 years? Who's got it? Is this... What is that? Seriously? Who threw that?
Cats are terrible at math, but they sure do multiply. Please spay, neuter, and adopt.
The solution is 10. Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. Max Robson with sports. Club sports are underway here at Ball State this year. NewsLink Indiana's Bryce Dimsevich joins us in studio to tell us more.
Thanks, Max. It's kicked into high gear as we quickly approach November. Men's club volleyball has been preparing for a 2-day tournament at Michigan State. I went out to their practice to check in with the team.
Welcome to Ball State Club Volleyball, baby!
That's the feeling that comes with club sports here at Ball State. Living in the shadow of the Division I teams at BSU, club sports gives students who aren't on those teams the opportunity to tap into their competitive nature while also maintaining a fun, friendly environment. Freshman Mateo Schranch explains why club sports at Ball State are so important.
Club sports are important because it's a good source of fun, a way to find friends, and then overall it's just a great place to do something you love.
For the men's club volleyball squad, preparation is key. Working hard week in and week out, just like every other team here at Ball State. The Cardinals spend each practice dedicated to perfecting their craft. Although they don't compete against Division I teams, the level of competition is still high. Club President Brennan Hinks compares the clubs they face to the top-level competitors.
When we play a lot of, there's a big range, I'd say, because there are obviously clubs in like Big Ten schools that have a lot of pull, that are very big, and their competition is very high level, but then there's also clubs that are smaller that have this less of a student body to pull from, so the competition level isn't as high. I think we compete at I'd say a 6 out of 10 in terms of like competition and compared to the D1 team.
This avenue of play is something valuable to the students at Ball State, allowing them to find what they are passionate about and fill their time with something that is meaningful.
When I play club volleyball, it's something that I've grown extremely passionate about over the years, and I kind of went into this club as I don't know about it, and I'm coming out of this club like I'm absolutely obsessed with volleyball, want everything to do with it, want to keep doing it after college. So it's really changed the direction of my life.
It's not too late to get involved with club sports this academic year. Contact information for teams can be found on NewsLink. Tryouts for teams open up again in the spring, but spots will be limited. Now, back to Max for Ball State's big weekend in soccer.
Thank you, Bryce. Moving things over to the pitch, Ball State soccer hits the road today to take on fellow MAC opponent, the Kent State Golden Eagles. The Cardinals head into the matchup 6-4-5 on the year and 5-1-2 in Mid-American Conference play. On the flip side of the coin, the Golden Eagles are 4-6-5 on the year and 4-1-3 in the MAC. With the match just wrapping up, Ball State and Kent State end the day in a 0-0 draw. The Cardinals will look to host the Buffalo Bulls this Sunday at 1 p.m. in the Briner Sports Complex for their second-to-last matchup of the regular season. Taking things over to the pool, both Ball State swimming and diving teams open their campaign this weekend. The Cardinals host their annual Cardinal vs. White intra-squad meet tomorrow. Fans will get their first opportunity to see the Ball State this season. The meet will begin at 6 p.m. After Friday night, the Cardinals travel to West Lafayette for the Indiana Intercollegiates. Teams at the meet include Anderson, Bethel, IUPUI, and several more. The event will take place on Saturday at 12 p.m. Finally, moving back over to the turf, Ball State football hosts their homecoming game this Saturday in Schumann Stadium. The Cardinals host their MAC West Division rival in the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Ball State comes into the matchup on a 3-game win streak, and after beating Northern Illinois, Central Michigan, and UConn, Ball State looks to move to 4 straight wins and 3-1 in the MAC this weekend. Both teams come into the match tied at 4-3 on the year. Kickoff in Schumann Stadium will take place at 12 p.m. on Saturday. So, homecoming weekend, big football game. You guys going?
Absolutely.
Yes, I'll be there. I'm in the marching band, so I'll be up in the stands. I'll be in the parade. I'm not looking forward to wearing those big, heavy uniforms, but when you're in the stands, when you're with your friends, it's so much better, especially enjoying such a big game as homecoming.
Absolutely. I'm super excited to go. Homecoming is one of my favorite things for Ball State, so it's going to be great. I'm excited about it.
Oh, yeah, and I'm very happy. The weather's going to be amazing for this Saturday. They just knew it was going to be homecoming weekend for Ball State, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just sounds like wonderful sports. We got swimming, soccer, and bed racing. Anybody?
Yes, bed racing is great. It's one of the highlights of homecoming. You can't miss it. If you're a freshman or even if you're like an upperclassman here at Ball State, that's something you have to go to. Like during the show right now, we got Air Jam going on. That's something that's also really fun for Ball State, and I know the football game is great too. So, yeah.
Make sure to tune in tomorrow morning for Cardinal weather and for a special homecoming coverage.
And we have one final check with the weather. After the break, NewsLink Indiana's Jovi Taylor joins us with our campus coverage.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just like the rules to surviving Zombieland, there are steps you can take to be prepared for an emergency.
It's the right thing to do.
Talk with your family to make a plan. Look for safe areas to meet up if separated. And stock up on supplies. It's never too early to get prepared, so start now.
Right now?
Right now. You can't predict emergencies, but you can be ready.
You're welcome, America.
Visit ready.gov today to learn more.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. My name is Jovi Taylor, and this is your campus coverage. Yesterday, one Ball State student transformed a dorm lobby into an interactive classroom with her event, Get Thrifty, Save the Planet. Brooke Bailey's event included a PowerPoint presentation of how harmful fast fashion is to the environment and how alternatives like thrifting clothing can save the environment. Bailey was also taking donations of any kind, and in return, students would be able to create a reusable pencil pouch or tote bag. Bailey decided to reward the students who donated something so they could associate that giving forward is a gift that truly keeps on giving. For Bailey, that kept on giving was sharing her knowledge about sustainable fashion.
I was learning with it as well because it doesn't really have to do anything with my major, and I'm learning from this just as much as other people my age. Apparently, to make one pair of jeans, it takes over 3,000 liters of water. Yes, and it takes 20% of our clean water usage on her.
After the event, Bailey sent all the donations to the Muncie Mission Homeless Shelter. Bailey hopes that her students learn that instead of donating to big corporations like Goodwill or Plato's Closet, they can choose a more local business that will help their community.
Thank you, Jovi. That is amazing. I love to see local thrifting. I'm a big thrifter myself, and I always find myself going to the smaller, quieter places than Goodwill or Plato's Closet.
Yeah, I know Brooke at the front desk at Botswan, and that's very good for her to be doing such a project that has a good cause.
Yeah, we love a good thrift, honestly.
Yes, yes. Like a nice sweater, a nice jacket, maybe some jeans. I'm always on the lookout for jeans.
I always love a sweater or zip up, honestly.
Clothing styles abound.
And we'll take one last look at weather. Jack, what do you have for us?
Yeah, for our 7-day forecast, we're going to be opening up with Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, warming up to the 70s, which will be very nice. We are going to be dealing with some wind as well, so it'll be quite breezy for the weekend. However, we're going to be quite warm and very sunny as well. Monday, we are actually going to see a first chance of rain, and then those temperatures will drop off back into the 60s and upper 50s as well as we look at the week ahead.
That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to tune in to Waking Up with Cardinal Weather tomorrow morning at 8 for a special homecoming show and live bed race coverage at noon.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night.